back over here, and then you're gonna ask that question again.
You're gonna have to.
No, we're gonna do it. I'll do it.
Welcome back to Christina's Garage Gearhead in Training. I'm at SEMA 2024 with JoJo and Granatelli Motorsports. It's really cool to be back here because we met last year at SEMA and we bonded over that beautiful trophy truck. And now I am learning a little bit more. I can kind of like graduate to kind of learn a little bit more about the different products you guys offer.
We have a ton of new products this year, but really the bread and butter about Granatelli Motorsports is our phenomenal ignition wires. So I actually have MSD's tester right here, and this is 1 foot of all my competition's wires. So if you go through the test, you have Mallory, Moroso, Magnacore, Taylor, Excel, MSD. MSD's wires are typically 50 ohms per foot. But like on the Camaro that you're building, none of your wires are 1 foot long. They're all a little bit longer, or even 3 feet long.
What does ohms mean?
Okay, ohms, the best way to describe, it's kind of like a garden hose, right? So it's a kink in the hose where it's not allowing all the flow to go through. With the Granatelli ignition wire, our wires have 0 ohms. So that means you're gonna get the full power from the coil, or the distributor in your case, to the spark plug. So I'm the only one who can truly say you're gonna gain horsepower, you're gonna gain torque, and in the long run, you're also gonna see an increase in MPG, which gas prices being so high is a much needed additive.
And so you have a display here. So this test.
So this is 1 foot of everybody else's wires. So you're going through, like you can see, okay, wow, this one's 600 ohm drop, 300 ohm drop, 1500 ohm drop. And that's just 1 foot of their wire. This is 23 feet. It goes around my whole entire display.
Oh, because each number represents
exactly the different wires. So this is 23 feet of mine. 0 ohm drop, it doesn't even move. Watch, I'll take it off, I'll hold the button, I'll take it off. See, right now it's an open loop, right? Because
so ohms is the amount of power or
flow. It's electricity flow. So you can see it's an open loop, so it doesn't know, so it thinks, hey, I'm sending out all this energy and nothing's coming back, so I'm dropping a lot. So now when you put it back on, it's like, hey, look at that. All the flow I'm sending out is coming out on the other end.
Got it. That's really cool. How, like, I guess what's kind of different between yours and the others?
So our wires are stainless steel dipped copper. So copper is a superconductor. The only other superconductor is gold, and nobody can afford gold wires. And stainless steel is super durable, right? Anything that you have, your exhaust, the refrigerator you have, a lot of products are made out of stainless steel because it's super durable. So we just put those two great metals together, and it creates a solid core wire. The problem with solid core wire is it's going to create RFI and EMI. But what we did is we came out with what we call the magic donut, which suppresses all that noise inside the wire.
And what part is that? This
right here, this little what we call the magic donut. Yeah, it suppresses all that in the wire. So you could run this right by your fuel injectors or any electronics. It's not going to cause any like in your radios. So that's what makes us the best.
I really like that because right now I'm working on my brother's 68 Mustang Fastback, and eventually I'm going to get to mine. I haven't even, well, this is like my first dive into it, and it's really cool to see that there's all these little things that you wouldn't even, like all these different brands. That's also usually a question that I have is like, okay, you sell this, this brand sells this, what makes you different? And that's actually really cool that you're able to actually demonstrate it right here.
Another great thing about the Granatelli ignition wires is it's all made in America. So you're not getting something overseas or that's something that's gonna deteriorate over time. We fully back our products when it comes to ignition wires or any Granatelli product.
Do you make these ones in-house as well?
Yes, we make all this in Oxnard, California.
That's so cool. I love that. And so so you have all these different ones here, like what are the difference between all these?
Yeah, so what I would like to say is I call this the OEM replacement style, right? Because there's nothing covering it. Then we move up to the silicone sleeve. The silicone sleeve is good up to 750 degrees radiant heat. Kevlar boot, that's good up to 1200 degrees radiant heat. And if you're running headers, which get extremely close to your ignition wires, I always recommend ceramic boot ends.
And it depends on the application of what you're going to be using.
Well, yeah, you don't need to go fully extreme on your daily driver vehicle.
And so for your daily driver, it would be more like
I would
this?
just recommend OEM replacement if you're not going to change your headers, or if you're just looking for a little bump in horsepower and even fuel economy.
Okay, and then would this be like heavy racing? Like what applications?
Yeah, I would say for like the race car drivers, the people who like to track their vehicles, anybody who's going more heavily modified, I always recommend the ceramic boot ends.
Okay, and then so what are the all these ones?
These are just different sizes, so I would say this is for like our LS truck, LS3 applications, LS1, LS2. We're just showing off the various designs. So we have Ford over here. So Ford has a 6.2 liter. We make ignition wires for over 750. We make these wires for over 750 different applications. So we're just showing off, hey, this is what we make. This is what we kind of stock. Because you're not going to have all 750 in stock. Because I don't know. Do you know what a Dodge Raider is? I've never seen one. You probably never seen one. You probably have never heard it until I just told you right now.
Yes, that's correct.
So
that's really cool. I love that, and I know when I'm ready to kind of do all this stuff, I'll be able to contact you. So if anybody is curious as to what they're going to want, they can contact you guys and talk about it.
What we can always do is we can make you a custom set of wires. You email us, you call us, and you say, hey, I want a custom set of wires. We send you a sheet. You just tell us what boot ends you want, what lengths you want in the middle, and we'll do everything for you. So you just open up the box, and you don't have to worry about, well, did I crimp it good enough? A lot of people don't even have the crimping tool at their house. So you tell us what you need, we ship it to you, and it's just a plug-and-play system.
Awesome.
Easiest horsepower you can add with the ignition wires.
When I went to your facility, you showed us the cutout exhaust.
Yeah, I showed you the exhaust cutout on our twin-turbo SS sedan. That's when you were like, whoa, what is that? And that actually video did very well for you, so congratulations on that. So let's just go over a little bit of the breakdown of what we saw off the vehicle. So with the Granatelli system, you're gonna get everything in the kit. You're gonna get the Y-pipe, the butterfly, our 3-bolt flange to V-band turn down, because I know on your vehicle, you don't know how it's gonna mount up.
Yeah.
So we give you the full capability of pointing the turn down anywhere you want. And with the Granatelli system, it's one touch fully open, one touch fully closed, kind of like this is above. So you definitely don't know when it's fully open because you tell yourself, hey, I think my car should be louder. And you definitely don't know when it's fully closed because you're like, hey, I thought my car was a little bit quieter than that. So with the Granatelli, what we call brain box, which is right here, that eliminates all your problems because it's one click, fully open, one click, fully closed.
And one thing that, like, I didn't even think about putting this on my car until like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
When you talked about it, it actually made a lot of sense. I'm going to be not necessarily a daily driver. I want to be able to drive like a street car, I guess. And you made a really good point that you don't always want it to be super loud if you want to drive it a little bit more. Well, some people do. Me personally, I would be nice, like if I'm going through a quieter neighborhood or something, that I'm not like turning on everybody's alarms and whatever while going through, and then having the option to when I want it to be loud, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it'll be so loud. Because I remember listening to your car.
Because a perfect example. So my sales pitch for this is, when you go to a car show, you spent a lot of time and you definitely spent a lot of money into this vehicle. You want everybody to notice you. So you just one flip, you're completely open. You can just have open header sounding. Everybody will look at you. But see, a lot of car shows are either early, really early in the morning, or they're really late at night, right? So early in the morning, you want to keep those things closed, goes through the natural mufflers, and it keeps it quiet. Then when you get down the street, then you can be more spirited with your feet.
I like that. That was so. You called these names.
Yeah.
I'm so new. This is the actual.
This is what the Y pipe. So this will go where your exhaust is. This is a 4-inch. This is probably a little big for you, but so this is where your normal exhaust would go. You will need 12 inches of straight to install this, but a lot of vehicles do have that. And then this is where the cutout will be, and then the turn down goes on after that.
So how does it? So you have the turn down here. You have the exhaust here.
So your normal exhaust. So let's just say you have your headers down here. You go up, you install this. Then this would go after this. This would, over here would be like your mufflers.
So when this is closed, it just doesn't allow air?
Yeah, it doesn't allow, it's just like putting a block off plate. Back in the day, in the early 2000s, what you do is you put a block off plate and then you just put the wing nuts on it. Well, all these cars are super low to the ground, so you'd have to either jack it up or put it on the lift to make your car loud, which Right when you took off those wing nuts and you'd open that plate, it'd be loud all the time. So then with the Granatelli exhaust cutout butterfly, that gives you the capability of opening it when you want it and closing it when you want it.
And then,
instead of just having a block off plate right there.
Well, in my mind, I was visualizing it being in this part when it's actually over here, and it just prevents the air from going past here, and
exactly. So it's kind of like putting a plate right there. Yeah, you're going to get a little turbulation in here, but in reality, it's going to accelerate the air.
And because it has nowhere to go.
Exactly.
It's just, okay. That's actually
like
pretty
that
cool.
door's not open, I gotta go. Because exhaust is like water. It's gonna go where the least resistance is.
And how does it like seal off? Because like it's obviously,
so I'll show you on my other display where we have a lip in ours, so it makes a complete seal on the top and a complete seal on the bottom.
And then because it only goes one way, it doesn't go.
It won't, yeah.
Okay, explain this again, because this obviously is the part that opens and closes.
Where this exhaust butterfly is going to go, it's going to go right here, and then you bolt this 3-bolt flange onto here, and then you can point it in any direction you want with the turn down.
Oh, so this goes in.
This goes on top, goes inside here.
Got it.
Then this gives you the capability, because where traditionally they give you like, okay, it's this way, or this way, and then you have to force and build your kit. You have to build your car around their exhaust system. We're giving you the capability to put it in any direction you want. Like a lot of diesel guys will buy 2 of my 4-inch turn downs, and then because it has a V-band on it, it gives them the capability of welding the 2 4s together and then having stacks out of the back and then just V-banding it on.
It's very creative.
It's very creative.
And it seems like you just have a variety in different.
So we make them in 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 3-inch, and 4-inch. So typically every vehicle other than the Chevy truck, because the Chevy truck is a 2.75, which if you are going to get a kit for your Chevy truck or GMC truck, we always recommend the 3-inch weld-in because it only leaves an 1/8 inch on both sides.
That goes over my head, but I'm sure people that are watching that
Exactly.
will understand that too.
But for a lot of people who have trucks or have a lot of space underneath, we do make a slip fit kit. So you just cut off 9 inches of your pipe, and then you can just clamp it right on.
Oh, I see the difference. So this is like
exactly.
flat.
This is our weld-in kit. You can weld in a slip fit kit, but a lot of people don't know how to weld these days. So that's why we came out with the slip fit kit.
This one in general would be the better in terms of because it's the weld.
Yeah, a lot of people like the weld because on show cars they want everything to be smooth. They want everything to be unison. Having a whole bunch of clamps underneath your car on a show vehicle, they just don't like it.
Got it. And in terms of function and everything, it's the same.
Yeah, no, they
it's just
both
aesthetics.
function the same. It's just aesthetics.
Okay. And then so this is the, what'd you call it again?
A slip fit.
Slip fit. This is the weld in, and then what is that?
This is aluminized. So if you're not,
oh, it looks different color.
Yeah, no, because it's a different metal. So this is stainless steel, and this is mild steel.
Okay.
So with mild steel, it's just a more cost-effective kit. If you aren't somewhere where the elements are at, like California, where we're located, anywhere where I would say where it doesn't snow. If it snows, I recommend the stainless steel just because it doesn't break down, but a mild steel will rust.
So when would you want that over this? Because this you would know it would handle the.
This is just a more cost-effective kit.
Okay.
And if you, like a lot of people on their show cars, if you're not going to drive it out in the elements, like I know my dad won't drive some cars out when it's raining outside or it's projected to rain, so it's just more cost-effective.
Got it. And so everything kind of this is essentially the same thing as this. It
Yes.
just goes.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are all these things?
So with all lower vehicles, you're really limited on space. So what we did is we came out with our oval exhaust kit. So you can see this is a 3-inch round system right here, and we squished it down to an oval. So this is going to save you 3/4 of an inch on ground clearance. So if you have a lower truck, Camaro, Mustang, and you're really close to the ground, you don't want to scrape your exhaust on the ground. So this really saves you a lot of space underneath. Another added benefit is with an oval, you could actually make it go right down the drive shaft. So you could really tuck it up in the
Oh, because otherwise it's round, it's a little bit
with
too
the round,
big.
you're really limited on space. Like especially on like a brand new Camaro, they don't give you much space. But on like a C10 truck, you have tons of space. So if you lower it down to the ground, where you're limiting your space, this is something I highly recommend for your vehicle.
And if you're wanting to do the exhaust cutout and do that, that's where
So
this
that's
is
where
different.
I would recommend.
You wouldn't use these.
You could, but I would highly recommend our oval exhaust system because you can just cut this at a 45, you can cut it straight, and you can really tuck it up in your system.
And this is the one that I saw in display.
This is what I had on my SS sedan.
Okay, and then, now I'm seeing the difference because that one's this and this one's hitting everything.
So this is more of like an oval shape, right? Because it's an oval exhaust cutout, and then that's our round system.
I like that. It's really cool. Like there's all these different things that I never would have really thought of at all.
Yeah.
And then the fact that you have so many different options based on what people's application are, that's something that I've been really noticing based on every company that I've talked to, is that when I'm asking these questions, every answer is very dependent on what kind of car, what application you're going to do.
This
like
is
how
like a
you're
more
gonna drive
universal kit. And on top of it is you don't have to have an oval exhaust to put on our oval exhaust cutout. So what you would do is you could cut this at a 45 on both sides, and then this will fish mouth over your system. Like on a brand new Hellcat, on a brand new Camaro, Mustang, you're trying to, if you want maximum amount of noise, right where it comes out the headers, where it Y's in, that's where we typically mount them. That's for maximum amount of noise and horsepower gain.
That's really cool. Well, if you guys are interested in this, definitely contact them, because if you go back and watch that video that we did together, you'll be able to like hear the sound.
It's a dramatic difference. And on that vehicle, with the cutouts closed, the car made 1,000 horsepower. With the cutouts open, it made 1,400 horsepower.
I didn't know that.
So on like turbo applications where it wants to breathe and you want the turbo to flow better, having the least amount of resistance on a turboed application, this will dramatically help you.
Because turbo is powered by
exhaust. The flow of the exhaust.
That's so cool.
You can actually come look at my motor that's right behind me.
Oh, and you can show.
I can explain kind of like a turbo.
Cool.
Even though this is not a Granatelli product, I'm going to explain to you how like a turbo works. So the header, right? You have the headers and it goes into the turbo. So there's a small turbine on the hot side of the turbo. So that's where all the exhaust is going to go, and then it's going to come out your exhaust, right? On this application, there's no muffler, so it's just going to dump right out to the side. So the one turbine is going to spin what we call the cold side, right? So if you come over here, this is the hot side, and this is the cold side.
Because the heat's coming out from here.
The heat from the exhaust is going to come through your headers to the hot side, and then come out the exhaust, right?
And then
it's
air comes in.
using the exhaust to propel the air. And then this is going to suck in the air and then go into your motor.
And this is powered by the fact it's kind of like a byproduct of the
exhaust. It's one wheel is turning the next wheel.
So you're using power you've already created to also create more movement.
More power, yeah. This is like the really dumbed down version of it, but yes, truly that is.
And so with an exhaust cutout, it would be kind of like giving it less resistance going.
Yes, so on like my twin turbo SS sedan or any turboed application where it's not meant, where it just dumps right out the sides, where it does go through a muffler, a Granatelli exhaust cutout kit would astronomically add horsepower to your vehicle.
Because
it has less resistance.
When there's more resistance, this is going to be turning slower because the air isn't moving as quickly.
Because there's more back pressure.
It's so cool.
That's why on like any turboed application where they say, hey, if you add this 2.5, 3-inch, 4-inch exhaust, you're going to gain horsepower. It's not because you're adding more fuel or adding more air necessarily to the vehicle. You're allowing the flow of exhaust to get out faster, so it allows everything to be more free.
And then when this pulls in air, it puts it here,
and
this
is going to go right into the engine bay.
And this is the intake.
This is the intake.
And does air come from anywhere else? Because in other intakes that I've seen, it's like open. I guess my brother's is open.
Your brother's, I think, is carbureted, correct?
Yes.
So he doesn't have a turbo, so it has to. That's where his air filter just sits on top. Also, on a turboed application, when the blade shuts and this thing is still spinning at like 1,000,000 miles per hour, the air has to go somewhere, so that's why we have the Granatelli blow-off valve right here. Because when this blade shuts, you're going to have all this air that's still trying to go, and then this will relieve the pressure. This is kind of like burping the motor.
Okay, because it seems like a closed unit.
Yes.
And then when you're starting the car, don't you need air in
Yes.
there? Is it just leftover air, or is it able to pull
No,
in
it's
air?
still flowing. It's just not flowing as fast.
Got it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
My nerd brain is so happy right now. I
glad.
love that. Well, I really appreciate you sharing all this information. And like, I don't know, there's so much that I can learn.
Yeah, we
So
sell
much.
more than just these products. So if you just go check out GranatelliMotorsports.com, we'll have a plethora of parts for you.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for following. If you want to check out all their stuff, if you want to follow my stuff, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you.